Hello, and welcome to the Authentic Truth Podcast. I am your host, Orrin Brazington. In this podcast, we showcase the strength of the human spirit and how if we can change the way that we think, then we can change how we show up in our own lives. In this episode, we are going to discuss coming off of antidepressant SSRIs and anxiety medications and the withdrawal symptoms we may face. Using hard facts and science, we look at what to expect and how to cope with the withdrawals to rediscover yourself afterwards. Let's get started. I want you to imagine, for the context of this episode, that you are a piece of art, as fine as any Da Vinci or Rembrandt painting in regard to being unique, genuine, and fully you in every way. No one can replace you because nobody can do things precisely how you would do them. You are a one-of-a-kind masterpiece and are priceless to your friends, family, and the world. Similar to rare pieces of beautiful art being copied, these medications alter our very brain chemistry and make us a counterfeit version of ourselves. A medicated, distant version of you will never be as valued, creative, or authentic. Blunting your feelings or emotions is not being your best self and will make you a distant, semi-hollow, cold version. Another good example of how these pharmaceuticals can make us feel is a V8 engine that has two cylinders misfiring, causing the motor to run rough and is noticeable to ourselves and others that something is off as we struggle to operate at our fullest capacity in life. I am not a doctor, nor a physician, but I do have over 2 decades of experience in this subject as a first-hand user. I was told by doctors that I needed to take these medications because I had a chemical imbalance in my brain. I was advised that my brain receptors were not firing appropriately and I needed to be on medications for the rest of my life to correct it. I was told I had a disease called depression that was very common and treatable. When you go to the doctor, they give you a chart that is a 1 through 10 scale of happy to very unhappy faces. You have a checkbox of which best describes how you feel at the moment. At times, I was an 8 or 9 of very unhappy. I was overly depressed with high levels of anxiety as a young teen. And my mother only knew to put me on these pills because she didn't know what to do with me and she was afraid to lose me. My mother and father were both on antidepressant meds, so it was the easy answer. I go into full detail in episode 1, Winning the Unwinnable Battle. When I was young and upset, I wish I knew that I could control my own feelings and emotions as I do today, instead of hoping and praying that a pill could change my entire life. What is the cost of believing this? It cost me years and even decades that I cannot get back. You see, the most valuable thing in the world isn't Bitcoin, gold, or platinum. Instead, it is our time here on earth that is the most valuable. Don't let these prescriptions steal your life as they did with mine. Looking back on my own life, I realize I was a cheap copy of myself, numb and nearly stumbling through my life, easily triggered by others' words and opinions. The sheer thought of running out of my prescriptions, let alone stop taking them, gave me a panic attack. I'd run out a few times in my life and I regretted it shortly after. The withdrawal symptoms came on heavy and I always ran back to the pharmacy in a panic to get more so that I could feel normal and be able to function in my daily life. I was a horse with blinders on. I was alive, but not in total control. I still had depression and anxiety, causing me to up my dosage in fear of the meds not being as effective as they once were. I was numb to everything. I didn't realize how much damage this stuff did to my mental health and body until I stopped taking them 3 years ago. Let's get into the science of how SSRIs work and why they are so difficult to get off of. SSRI stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. They control and change how the serotonin is handled in the brain by blocking the reuptake sequence our brain uses to absorb its own serotonin. Rewiring how the brain works. As complex as our brains and bodies are, any adjustment, no matter how large or small, can have severe, long lasting effects. I found that in men and women, antidepressant medications affect sex drive and cause low libido in both, causing erectile dysfunction in men as well as numbing sexual organ sensitivity and making orgasms difficult or next to impossible to achieve in men and women during intercourse. So, what are the symptoms of stopping these medications? The terms used are scary enough, such as SSRI discontinuation syndrome or simply antidepressant withdrawal syndrome. The symptoms affect balance and coordination, tremors or shakiness, flu like symptoms, and last but certainly not least, strong thoughts of suicide and intense insomnia. The medication changes how the brain handles the neurotransmitter serotonin. So when we stop taking it or reduce the dosage, our nervous system struggles and has to adjust and reprogram itself, which can take several months or even a year, depending on how long the person was on the medication. Similar to how drug addicts react to opioid withdrawal. The cure to this is neuroplasticity. The formation of new neural pathways in the brain will make healing yourself achievable, but takes work and a lot of patience. There is a little over 1,000 medical papers written on why you shouldn't take antidepressants and close to 50,000 on why you should take them. Most doctors will advise you to simply stay on the required dosage to avoid the harsh withdrawal effects of stopping. A scary reminder of how serious the grip of this substance is. It's my personal belief that they were designed that way. The fear of stopping scares many people all over the world, so they reluctantly stay on them. Fortunately, you are not alone. Many people face this scary predicament. First steps: consult your doctor. Make a plan to reduce the dosage and taper off little by little. Slowly, I took 6 months to wean myself off from 100 milligram a day down to 20 milligram a day until I completely stopped. The first 5 weeks for me was easy. It was shortly after that I knew I was in a lot of trouble and needed help. Like some of you listening, I was scared and read and watched everything I could about getting off of them, but the more I learned, the scarier it became. I knew that if I kept drinking the way that I used to, I'd be dead if I didn't stop that too. Alcohol is a severe depressant, and if you're serious about not taking SSRIs or anxiety drugs anymore, your drinking needs to stop as well. Continuing to drink alcohol while trying to detox and face withdrawals could be catastrophic. Sobriety is best. Having a strong support network is imperative to your success. This is going to be very difficult and even scary depending on how long you have been on them. So please get some help in dealing with it because it can be overwhelming. Learning how to properly handle and gracefully deal with your feelings and emotions is what will be difficult. When I stopped and was in the middle of withdrawals, it was like I had to relearn how to be a human being again. A terrifying thing to think about in the moment. Things that will help: being out in nature as much as possible, having a strong, supportive network of people around you, periods of solitude so you can get away to fully feel what your feelings and emotions are trying to convey to you. Filling your thoughts with positive things such as self improvement books, positive TV programs, and healthy affirmations. I'd recommend staying away from any negativity, whether that's music, people, or movies during this time. Journaling, meditation, playing an instrument, and other forms of self expression will aid you in becoming yourself again. I encourage those facing this to never give up, and it's okay to get professional help so you don't have to face it alone. The key to dealing with your past and to heal is to identify the reasons you needed the medications in the first place. SSRI meds and alcohol are an escape from our daily lives and reality, but to acquire real freedom is to heal and accept your past and thus the root cause of the discomfort we are trying to avoid. Lean into your feelings and be curious as to why you feel that way. Being connected to yourself and living in the moment will solve a lot of life's difficulties. I hope that this helps and shows others that are facing the same thing that it is achievable with the right mindset and people to help us succeed. Anything is possible if you believe in yourself. That's a wrap for this episode. If you have any questions about this, hit me up on Instagram at my Instagram handle, BigOBrazy1971 or Orrin Brazington. If you'd like support in this, you can also reach out to me at www.orrinbrazington.com to set up a momentum call with me via a Calendly link on my website to discuss what you'd like your life to look and feel like with actionable steps to achieve it. I'll put all of this info in the show notes to make it easy. Please take a moment to like, rate, and share this podcast so I can spread my message to those that would benefit from it and get it into the algorithm. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, don't be afraid to speak your authentic truth. Thank you.